In this video, I turned this bare and non-functional space above my tub into something decorative and also functional. I now have a place to put candles, bath amenities, and also just decor to bring a little life to this area. Let me show you the process. With my walls being a darker color, I planned on going for a raw wood look for my final project and chose maple as I think it will contrast nicely with the gray wall, and I already had it on hand. My board is quite long and wide, so I first started off by cutting it to rough length at the miter saw. My boards were around 3/4 of an inch thick, which would have been just fine, but I wanted mine closer to half, so next I wheeled my Triton planer to my shop's porch and knocked my boards down to the thickness. These boards will make up 3 hexagon shelves that I'm wanting for the space. Know that everything about these shelves is flexible and up to personal preference. Next I set up my table saw to rip my boards into 4-inch strips. I measured the items I have around my tub, and 4 inches deep comfortably housed everything of mine. However, if you wanted to store, let's say, towels, then you could also make this cut wider, which would make the finished shelf deeper. If you'd like a cut list for the ones I made, I have a free download available on my website. After cutting these strips to width, next was to cut them into pieces. The key to making a hexagon work is to get 6 identical pieces, and the best way to do that is to set up a stop block. When using a miter gauge at the table saw, you never want to butt your piece directly up against the fence, because that leaves the cutoff held tight between the fence and the blade, which is what causes kickback. Instead, I place a scrap board and clamp it at the front of my fence, so that I can start my piece off resting on the stop block. But then as I push the miter gauge forward and the piece contacts the blade, there's a gap between the end and the fence, which will get rid of the possibility of it binding and causing kickback. I start off by beveling one end of my board, then flipping it over and resting it up against my stop block before pushing it forward to bevel the second end. I repeated flipping and cutting the board until I had all 6 pieces to make up a hexagon. When I got to my last cut, I didn't have enough length to hold it onto the miter gauge. To make an extension, I simply grabbed a scrap of wood and used 2 screws to secure it to my miter gauge. This gave me plenty of length to safely keep my fingers out of the way, but still give me my straight reference from the miter gauge. If you don't have a table saw, another method for cutting these pieces is to use a miter saw with a stop block. Okay, now for gluing them together. I don't know why I chose to work on this makeshift workbench instead of my nice and sturdy plywood bench, but let's just go with it. I placed all my pieces upside down and butted them up to each other. I used 2 strips of tape to connect them together. I typically use painter's tape for this, but I couldn't find any, so duct tape it is. After getting the pieces joined, I flipped it over so that I could apply some weldwood glue in each one of the joints. This is a yellow wood glue that is for interior projects, and I really like that it's both sandable and paintable. I applied a liberal amount in each joint so that when I rolled it up, I could see squeeze out along the entire area. Big thank you to DAP for being the sponsor of this video. Woodworkers have been relying on weldwood for several decades, but they also make contact cement and spray adhesive, so look for weldwood the next time you're needing something adhesive. With these being simple shelves that won't see a lot of movement or loads, I don't plan on reinforcing any of the joints. Instead, I made sure that I had good coverage of weldwood, and I'll go ahead and tell you that I tried breaking one, and it took throwing it on the ground several times before it busted. So I think it's good for our goal here. After taping the rest of the sets up, I used a little bit of water on a rag to clean up each joint of most of the squeeze out. Weldwood is an easy cleanup with water. With those setting up, I started making the straight floating shelves that will accompany them. These are very simple, as it just required ripping them to width at the table saw, then cutting them to length at the miter. By the time I was done, I was ready to take the tape off the hex shelves and start the sanding process. My boards were already pretty smooth from processing them, so here I just had to clean up any of my glue squeeze out, which was mostly on the outside area as the tape prevented me from getting after it with a rag and water. Now to finish them, I chose maple for this project so that I could apply a clear coat finish and leave it looking almost like raw wood. I suppose I could have just left it raw, but applying a finish is simple and will protect should I get any water or wax on it. I let that sit overnight and then started the hanging process the next day. For the hexagons, I hammered on a sawtooth hanger on the top back of each unit. Then used a sheetrock anchor to get it exactly on my desired location. If you're going to be housing something heavy on these, then there are plenty of other hanging options. But these anchors I'm using does support up to 50 pounds. The ones I went with require a pre-drilled hole so that you can thread in the anchor. I drive them in by hand to make sure they don't get over tightened. Now a screw can be threaded into them so that you can hang your shelf directly on it. On the straight shelves, I went with an easy but strong Rockler floating shelf hardware. On these, a base plate is screwed into the wall first. Then a metal rod can be screwed into the last hole, then the shelf can be slipped on. I was so pleased with how these very simple shelves just brought so much life to this area. After getting them all hung up, the last thing to do was decorate. Now, I actually looked up candle flame safety, and it looks like 12 inches above a flame is considered safe. So make sure the area you place a candle has the needed room to not be a hazard. I know I am biased, but I think this looks drastically better than it did before. Now I can put a few candles around, a few bath bombs, and even a few plants. Now for this wall, I plan to utilize it as storage for all the containers of things I need, but don't want all around my tub's perimeter. However, instead of building a cabinet on the wall, I plan to build a cabinet in the wall. Stay tuned for my next video where I show you how to build into the wall and magically create storage space for any room. I'll see you then. If you are looking for some great sawhorse plans, then I have a link for you right here for this one, as well as 2 other variations. This one's cheap, it's sturdy, it's very quick to put together, and the thing that I like the best is that it's foldable. And it's collapsible.